we're breaking down one of the most underrated luxury communities in Prosper, Texas, and that's going to be Legacy Gardens. And there's one thing about this neighborhood almost no one talks about. It can save homeowners thousands of dollars every single year. Now, on paper, Legacy Gardens looks like every other Prosper luxury master plan community. You have homes from 800 to about 1.2 million, amenity center, Prosper ISD, and those luxury finishes you really would expect from a high-end build in North Texas. But once you start digging into the real details of this neighborhood, you can really see what separates it from a lot of the other neighborhoods. And later in this video, when we get into the taxes, the different builders, and why people strategically target this pocket, you'll really understand that. Now, by the end of this video, you're going to know what it's really like to live in Legacy Gardens, who this neighborhood is perfect for, the pros and cons of living here, and whether Legacy Gardens' price tag is actually worthwhile. Now, we're also going to go over the biggest mistake people make when deciding between Legacy Gardens or like Star Trail or Windsong Ranch, so be sure to stay for that. Now, of course, location is going to be one of the biggest deciding factors for families, and Legacy Gardens really has a super strategic location in Prosper. Now, it's right off the Dallas North Tollway in West Prosper. You're going to be near Coit and Frontier Parkway. You're going to have easy access, like I said, to the Dallas North Tollway to get down to Dallas, or if you want to go into Salina or Gunner. You also have easy access to PGA Frisco, the Star, Universal Kids Studio, Legacy West, and of course all of the Frisco employment corridor that's booming as more and more big name companies move their headquarters here to North Texas. And the next part is why so many people end up moving here. As far as your commuting points, you're only about 15 to 20 minutes to Frisco, and if you fly a lot for work, you're on a light traffic day, 30 minutes from DFW Airport, but more realistically, probably 45 to 50 minutes with some traffic. And then if you work in the Plano or Legacy West area, you're going to be 25 to 45 minutes. So it's a very doable commute for you. And you have everything around you like we talked about. You have Universal Kids Resort, which should be opening any day now. In Frisco, you have the Fields of Frisco development, you have PGA Frisco, the Omni Resort, the Star. You're right next to the billion-dollar growth corridor. So you have everything going on around you. You can hop on the Dallas North Tollway super fast. And that's really what is crazy is many buyers don't realize all the growth that is still happening around this area of Prosper and North Texas in general. Now, the first thing you're going to notice about Legacy Gardens is it's a lot smaller of a community than most of the master plan communities here in North Texas, but that's really the intentional design of it. You have wider streets, you have a lot of landscaping. Now, it's still a newer neighborhood, so you're not going to get those super big mature trees, but you're going to get a little bit bigger lots, more spacious. It's a lot more quiet of a neighborhood than a Windsong Ranch. And with that, you get a less chaotic atmosphere. Not that Windsong Ranch is bad, but if you want a little bit quieter, slower pace, not as noisy and busy, this one's going to have the upper hand over like a Windsong Ranch, for example. And that's really where Legacy Gardens tends to attract a completely different type of buyer than a lot of the other master plan communities in North Texas. Another nice thing is you have all different types of architecture here. You're going to have your modern farmhouses, your transitional looks, Tipperary, you're going to have some stucco, high-pitched roofs. You're going to get a really nice variety of homes. It's going to keep the neighborhood feeling different and unique. Now, like I said, lot sizes are generally a lot bigger. And another big advantage is an elementary school just opened in the fall of 2025 here within the community. You have elementary school within the community for convenience for you. You get a little bit bigger lot size, which means you're going to get a little bit bigger backyard. But the really important thing isn't just the aesthetics of the different homes, a little bit bigger yard. It's what these homes compete against at this price point. Now, before we get into the taxes, if it's in a mud or PID, and what the HOA cost is, let's go over what the amenities look like inside this community. Because I know I said it's a little bit smaller community, but you really still get everything I feel like you need within a neighborhood. Now, you have a clubhouse with a full kitchen inside it, which is pretty awesome. You could have some private events up there, a lot of community gatherings. So if you want a super active community, you need to be able to meet at the clubhouse that you pay your HOA dues for. Then you have a really awesome resort style pool that's in the middle, and then on the other side of it, there's a pond right there. And if you like to work out or want to get into working out, you have a fitness center, which is really going to be a big convenience factor for you, not having to drive super out of your way to go to the gym, and it's going to save you a little bit of money on a gym membership, which is always a bonus. Now, you also have some green space that you could use for pretty much whatever you wanted. Kids playing sports, walking the dog, hanging out, family picnics, whatever that may look like for you. And of course, you still have a playground, ponds, and walking trails. So your kids are going to have everything they need to be entertained in the summer without you having to drive them to Universal Kids, unless that's something you want to do. And the really interesting part about this neighborhood is these amenities feel upscale without being super overcrowded or overpriced. The HOA here is about $1,700 a year, which is really a really good value compared to a lot of them. Most of them I feel like are about $1,200 to $1,800, and then if you get into like a Windsong Ranch or Mustang Lakes, that's where you're going to see them be well north of $2,000 a year. Now, the surprising thing is the HOA is not even the biggest financial advantage of this neighborhood, which we'll get into in just a second. But if you have any questions about this neighborhood or moving to North Texas in general, reach out to me. My team and I would love to help you make a smooth move here to North Texas, whether you're 9 days or 9 months away from making that move. Reach out to me. All my contact info is below. You can call, text, email, schedule a Zoom call, whatever you're most comfortable with. And we can chat about strategies, best neighborhoods, and how we can best make it a smooth transition for you. Now, this is the favorite part a lot of buyers love to hear about, and a lot of people want to avoid altogether, is a mud or a pit. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what a mud or pit is, it's an extra tax assessment on top of your property taxes. So a lot of these communities that have a mud or pit, the property tax is, anywhere from like 1.6 to 2.2 is what we see a lot. And then it can be an additional 0.4 to 0.8%. So I've seen the overall tax value be as high as 3.1%. And a lot of them in a mud or pit, I feel like, fall between that 2.6 to 2.8%. Now, Legacy Hills is not in either a mud or a pit, which is either for your public improvement district, like infrastructure of roads, hiking, biking trails, things like that, or your municipal utility district, which is for your utilities, water, sewage, things of that nature. That is a prepaid cost to help get the infrastructure there. So you have a big win there. The tax rate is about 1.95 in this community, so you're saving quite a bit of money. You think if you get in at the lower price point and you had a 0.5% mud or pit tax, that'd be an extra $4,000 a year you would be paying. So in a lot of other communities that have that mud or pit, it's several $100s. I've seen it as much as anywhere from usually about $250 to $500 extra per month. What that means for you is you can either save money or buy more house, depending what you want to do with that extra savings you're not having to spend. And imagine the savings over 10 years if you're paying an extra $6,000 a year for a mud or pit. It's like having an extra 60 grand in your pocket. That's really important for you because it's going to help with your resale value. It's also going to help with your affordability today, and it's going to have a larger buyer pool later, because a lot of buyers, that is one of their criteria they give me, is we don't want to be in a mud or a pit. Now, let's talk about the homes themselves, because that's probably really what you care about the most. Is it doesn't matter how much money you're saving by not being in a mud or pit. If the homes are ugly, you don't care, which they're not in this neighborhood, which is good news for you. These are super, super detailed homes. They're gorgeous. You really get that luxury feel. Like I said, they're anywhere from about $800,000 to 1.2 million or so. You're gonna have those open concepts, tall ceiling, natural light, chef's kitchen, large islands. You're gonna have some indoor and or outdoor entertainment space. Your kitchens are usually gonna have quartz countertops, double oven, walk-in pantry. You're gonna have vaulted ceilings in your living room. In your primary suite, you're gonna have those oversized showers, freestanding tub if that's your thing. And as far as the backyard space, most of them are gonna have a pretty sweet outdoor living setup, as well as on those bigger lots, you're gonna have space to put a pool in if that's something you'd like. Now, one of the most important factors is, of course, gonna be who is this neighborhood best for, which we'll get right into, but one of the most important ones is gonna be the school district. Now, if you know anything about North Texas real estate, the school district really drives the demand and the pricing. And this neighborhood is in Prosper ISD. Occasionally, depending how zoning works, you may be in a McKinney, Texas city, but could be zoned to Prosper. You may be in Prosper, zoned to Salina, or Prosper, zoned to Frisco. But this one is in Prosper ISD, so your kids are going to get one of the top-rated schools here in North Texas. It's really a toss-up on all the school ratings between a Frisco or Prosper on which one is the best. Now, schools really matter. Of course, if you have kids, you want them to get a great education, but it's also really going to drive the demand on the resale side. And of course, it's going to help your home gain value. When you're in a good school district, there's more consistent demand. So when the market is having its peaks and valleys, they're typically not as drastic if you're zoned to a highly sought after school district. Now, Legacy Gardens is not for everyone. And honestly, that's what makes a good neighborhood good, is if it fit everyone, no one would enjoy it. Buyers who love this neighborhood usually want something super specific. Right, if every neighborhood was like Windsong Ranch, some people would love it, some would hate it, and they're going to be different buyers. Both are great neighborhoods unless you choose the wrong one. This neighborhood's great if you really want that luxury feel without a ton of chaos of a truly like massive master plan community like Fields or Windsong Ranch, where both of those are going to be, Windsong Ranch, they've been building for over 10 years. The Fields, they're going to be building the next 10 years. Also great if you're a professional that works in Frisco or Plano. Of course, if you want lower taxes and want to avoid a mud or PID, this one has a huge advantage for you. Or if you're just a move-up buyer that already loves Prosper but wants a little bit bigger, more luxurious home, it's going to be a great fit for you, and of course, it's a little bit quieter. Of course, if you want acreage and really a true bigger lot, this one isn't going to be for you, but I would imagine you probably already knew that. Or if you want a lot of commercial space nearby, you're going to have to move a little bit closer to Frisco or the gates of Prosper. Now, let's get into some of the biggest trade-offs you need to be aware of before moving here and kind of some of the pros and cons of this neighborhood. Now, of course, the biggest pro is you're going to have a lower tax rate than a lot of other North Texas communities at about 1.95, and that's really due to you not having a MUD or PID tax. I know there's several in Salina and Prosper that are around that 1.9 range, but then they have a MUD or PID attached to it. So your real effective tax rate is usually like 2.4 to 2.6%. Now, another big pro is you also get the luxury feel without the oversaturation of a ton of people, noisy and busy. You get that excellent amenity package we talked about where you have pool, clubhouse, fitness center, walking trails, playgrounds, and a pond, and great access to the Frisco growth corridor. But no neighborhood is perfect. With it being a smaller neighborhood, inventory can be a lot more limited. So if this is one you really want to get into, that's where partnering with an agent like myself that has some off-market strategies that I've been able to find homes for clients that they've thought about selling but haven't went to the market yet can be an advantage. So if you are running into that issue, whether it's in this neighborhood or another neighborhood, reach out to me. I'd love to show you what I do different to be able to help you find that home in the right area. Another con that a lot of people don't think of, so I'm going to move further out and get away from the traffic, is that growth is going to catch up. So right now it's a little less congested, a little bit slower pace of life and Prosper than Frisco, but give it 5 to 10 years, it's probably going to be the same. So one of the risks is you're kind of buying into the unknown versus Frisco. You kind of know what the traffic looks like and what to expect versus Prosper, you don't. Now, another con, of course, this is a luxury neighborhood, so it's going to be at a higher price point, which is really going to cause an affordability barrier. So if that's something where, you want this size home in this neighborhood, you may have to move a little bit further north or further out to be able to get that and attain that affordability. So that's where Salina may be a better fit for you. Now, it may not be zoned to Prosper ISD schools, but Salina is still a great school district for you. So if you have any questions on that, feel free to reach out to me. And if you compare it to like a Windsong Ranch, there's less entertainment inside the community, but I still feel like personally for me, when I was, a little kid running around, there would have been plenty to do. So your kid probably won't even notice a difference. It's just really, what are you looking for your family? Now, if you're looking at Legacy Gardens from a long-term investment perspective, there's several things, you need to know and consider. While we can't guarantee all of this is going to happen, you have the Frisco growth that's happening that's going to push into Prosper. Of course, Frisco's expanding north. You have Salina that's starting to boom, and then Prosper's right in the middle. So you kind of have candle burning at both ends, meeting at Prosper, and Prosper expanding outward. And of course, one of the biggest trends is corporate relocations. I get calls all the time, people from California, New Jersey, Illinois, wherever it may be, looking to relocate here for work or affordability. Now, a ton of other people like Prosper because it's less busy and more affordable because they work from home or they have a hybrid work schedule, so they don't have to go into the office every day. So they have a lot more flexibility in where they call home. So overall, as you can see, Legacy Gardens has a very unique spot inside of Prosper and is a super unique neighborhood that really could be a great fit for you if you're looking for that quiet luxury neighborhood that still has all the amenities right inside the community. You're in Prosper ISD, you have all those great amenities, lower tax rate, no motor PID, so it really checks a lot of boxes for people I talk to. And I mean, getting in Prosper in a luxury neighborhood for $800,000 is really, really good. Honestly, neighborhoods like this are getting harder and harder to find here in North Texas. So if you're thinking of making the move, whether that's to Prosper or another North Texas community, reach out to me. My team and I would love to help you make a smooth move here to North Texas and navigate you through pros and cons of each area and neighborhood so you can make a decision that best fits you and your family's needs. Like I said, whether you're moving next week or in a year from now, reach out to us. Never too early to start planning. And honestly, the earlier you plan, the smoother your move will go. So reach out to us. All our contact info is below. Have a great day. Be sure to subscribe. I post at least 2 to 3 videos a week going over pros and cons of neighborhoods like this, or showing you what homes actually look like here in North Texas. So subscribe so you don't miss that. Thanks for watching.